Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is the Win and In podcast brought to you by Sneap and Sneap Gaming. I am your host, Eric Darenheim, and today I am joined with the man behind the curtain of Sneap itself, Mr. Gabe Hohenstein.
What is poppin', you beautiful people?
All right. Well, as you know, we've had quite the week with the new Uprising set coming out and the pre-releases happening all over the country.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I guess you went to a couple events, which totally bummed me out because I know over here in Montana, we had no pre-release events. And I called all the stores. I was like, hey, are you guys going to at least have the packs for pre-release? And they all gave me a harsh no. So I didn't get a pre-release at all, which was really sad.
You know what? That is as good a transition as any. We're just going to jump right into that issue here. Let's talk about how the stores do not have packs right now. And I'm not talking about pre-release packs. They got those, that's good.
Oh, we didn't get those. That's what I was upset about.
Well, yeah, I know. You know what? I bet that one store in Billings got
Billings
some.
probably did, but I don't want a mob for 6.
Yeah, so there is some. So any flesh and blood homies from Billings, y'all keep it up. Your store is getting on the map.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so let's more talk about how the delay was announced about the Flesh and Blood Uprising packs.
Yeah, most definitely. I saw that come out. What was that? 3 days ago? 4 days ago?
Yeah. 3 or 4 days ago. Yeah. So, what? I'm kind of curious on your take on it because my take as a player, I got quite a bit, but as like a investor, a buyer, a seller, collector, what have you, what does that do for you or to you?
So it definitely first of all, I wanted to open a lot of products so I could do like mass box openings and have product to sell through the online as well as in person, and it makes that a lot more scarce. And I know the product's gonna be pretty restrained when it comes out. Like not a whole lot of it, which is kind of scary. But then with them pushing it back even farther, just brought more uncertainty, which is like not bad, but you just feel dicey in your shoes if that makes any sense. It doesn't make me sleep good at night. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard time and time again from like multiple companies that there's shipping issues and whatnot, and I guess it's hit LSS this time. But yeah, I totally understand that. You as a store owner, you're gonna want the product like as soon as possible to give out to people.
Definitely, especially when people are like breathing down your neck, like, "Hey, dude, where's the product at?" And you're like, "I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, it's not on my end. I'll tell you what."
Yeah. All right. So check this out. So let me give you a pretty damn real scenario here. Okay. So let's say you have a Road to Nationals coming up. Let's say it's a week after the set is released, which it used to be 2 weeks, but now it's just a week after.
Mm-hmm.
So, with cards being in such high demand because you only have a week to obtain them, what does this mean on the financial side?
So, I mean, okay, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. There's like way number one is if people are not scummy, but if they're thinking about their wallet and they're thinking about money wise, if they actually are in tune with it, they could all kind of coordinate and have an idea and set a high floor limit for the price of the cards that are needed to be played, just because everyone knows there'll be a scarcity of them. So it could really inflate the market on the really desirable cards. That's my first take on it. But there's also the second take, which is since came out already a little shaky with being delayed, people could get uncertain and uncomfortable with it once they receive the product, just because people are like deer in headlights no matter what at any situation, especially when it's ordering product in high volume. So they might try to fire sale, which then means you might actually be able to pick it up for a cheaper rate than you initially should have. So it's going to go one or two ways. Either if the product feels really strong and the people that bought the product when it first came out they're not uneasy or anything, then most likely all the good cards will go up in value and actually maintain a higher value with just product scarcity. But vice versa. If people get the cards and they're sketched out or something happens, some article comes out, they're just gonna try to fire sale and it's gonna be just falling knife effect, and you'll be able to get the cards for a decent rate. What I'm scared of is actually getting those cards for the tournament in time. You know?
Yeah, no, that's definitely a concern. I understand it's like really smart to buy singles. I totally get that, but I am addicted to the pack, and I think this would be the first time where it's like, yeah, no, I have to get the singles because I don't have enough time to be able to just like crack a lot of packs and through like events like draft or sealed to be able to get the product over time. Like now I have to just go the TCG player, buy the singles, obviously from Sneak Gaming,
Of course.
and then and then come in like and hope that it comes in time, and just there's a lot of stress when it comes to that because it's literally such a quick turnaround, and it's not just Road to Nationals. They're battle hardens that are like soon as well.
Yeah, no, it's just super uneasy and super dicey. I know I'm very nervous and anxious about it because I'm going on this road trip, which I don't get back until like the first or the second, so when the product releases. And then I got to figure out what deck I'm playing for Nationals, and then got to make sure I have all the new cards for said deck in a timely fashion.
Yeah, it's a man. It's like it's kind of a like I guess there's no one to blame here, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel good.
It definitely feels bad. I think what would be really super sweet of LSS for them to do is even like the first couple tournaments for Road to Nationals, they just give out like a couple extra promos or something to really be like, hey, we're sorry about the whole kerfuffle. Like, we know you're trying to be prepared, but I don't know.
I totally get that. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Oh, I doubt it. That's the logistics of that happening in that time frame, such short notice, and the money wise. No, of course not.
Yeah,
but you could hope.
One could hope. One could hope. They have done stuff in the past for player base, but yeah. So I think not only with buying singles, I think there are some limited Road to Nationals with draft. The store will have the product, I'm sure, but maybe the practice won't necessarily be there. But if you do not have limited product available to you, the next best thing to do is just get very prepared. And lucky for you guys is we have a draft tier list on what cards to draft. To do some homework studying for, so that when the draft does come, even though you may have never touched an Uprising pack, you'll have a good idea going into it, which cards to draft, which cards to pass.
Definitely. Check that out at teamsneap.com.
Yeah, we got a website now.
Kind of exciting. You can also find the podcast on there as well.
Okay, so the pre-releases happened. It was a fun time. There was a lot of Marvels and cold foils and rainbow, all sorts of stuff got open. But now that's behind us. Now it's time to prep for Road to Nationals. It's time to prep for the Battle Hardens that are this next month. It's time to get ready. So, let me ask you something. What heroes do you think we will see?
Oh man, I'm so anxious about that. We've been playtesting a little bit, trying to figure out what's going to be going down. I definitely think you can get all the new people that want to play the new Fi and the new Dromai, as well as Islanders. So those are going to be rampant for sure. Definitely Dromai and Fi, because those look like easier decks to pick up and they follow class suits that people really can get with. I do think you will still get some of your diehard fans with the original decks. So that's just a given in any meta. I'm interested to see how Prism is going to be looking into the meta, as well as Lexi and Oldhim. So I'd say those are probably my top 6 that I could see that you're gonna want to expect.
I'll have to agree with you. I think anytime there's a new hero, that hero is going to be tested. And so I do think we will see all 3 heroes out there for sure. Prism is an interesting one. I do think that's kind of the wild card. How well does it deal with Fi and Dromai?
Exactly. That's what we're trying to figure out, is if it's aggro. We're so bummed.
Yeah, exactly. And with Fi being around, and I I think there's a lot of ninja lovers out there. I think we are going to see quite a bit of fight, and I think the format will be a bit more aggressive.
Definitely. So, well, I guess let me flip that question on you. You know that Uno reverse card. What are you expecting, buddy?
So, like I said, the three new heroes I will expect, and then I would expect Briar to be just as relevant. And I do think Briar still has legs as well in this sort of meta. I could even see some combo decks, like even Bolton. But one deck that I think not a lot of people have talked about, but I do think will see some success, is Kano.
Ooh, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, like Kano got a few pieces. Whether you use them or not, it's up to you. But Kano is still very relevant. If it's an aggro meta, that's usually hurts Kano. But at the same time, the way that these decks are built, they will not be able to block Hurricane damage at all. So you give Kano free reign to do as he please, and if you cannot kill him within 3 turns, that might be enough for Kano to be able to set some damage up enough to get one combo turn off.
I mean, that sounds exciting. I know my thought is, well, just having Kano enter the Pro Tour scene like it did, as well as Islander, that's where I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of AB barrier coming into the new meta.
I think for Islander for sure, but and I will say there will be AB, and like Islander can run AB, and so can decks like Bravo and Oldham. But the decks like Dromai and Fi, they can run the AB, but they're not going to have efficient enough pitches for it.
Oh, okay, I see what yeah, they're running red, I guess. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so it's really a race. I think the Dromai deck will be running a few more blue than the Fi. But it is interesting to see what all happens. The biggest thing with those heroes are, because they're new, except for Icelander, but even Icelander, they each need some L's from this new set. So those legendaries are going to be so coveted right now, and because of the quick turnaround time to grab them.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to play some of the new heroes, it might cost you. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's interesting. I'm going to be playing Oldham straight up. I think with it being an aggro meta, I think Oldham's great into that. And Icelander, I think, can be a little problemsome, but not that much. Like, I think Oldham can deal with Icelander just as well.
Totally. Yeah, I'm just still nervous on what deck I'm going to play. I'll be honest. I've not settled on any idea.
Well, it's way too early to settle. I think, the least the one good thing that we as players have, even with the set being released a week later, is we still have time to play test using like Tabletop Simulator or using proxies. So there's plenty of time for that. So I imagine within the next week or two, we'll both have a very good idea of what deck to play. So I think one thing that's going to be pretty interesting is we are going to get a updated like ban and restricted list. Nothing's necessarily going to get banned or anything like that. But on the 24th, so that's 3 days from this recording. So we will see if this new article comes out and really shakes up the game or not. There's some speculation that Prism could get hit, since Prism was such a big player in the game last meta. But we'll have to find out. We'll see if maybe something gets unbanned that it's previously banned, like Awakening or Seeds or some shit.
Right.
Well, Seeds doesn't really matter anymore, but yeah.
Craziness. Like, I'd be really surprised if they try to touch Prism, because it's like, why?
Well, I kind of felt the same way with Viserai, but the meta really expanded after that, and so if it can expand the meta, it's probably not a bad idea, I should say.
Okay, agreed.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's basically it. The biggest news this last week was the pre-release firing off, which I'm glad that went well, and then the delay, and then now it's just speculations on what deck to play.
Yeah, I'm very we'll just say anxious, very anxious.
Yeah, that's appropriate. That's appropriate. But we got time. We got time.
I guess before we go, what are your thoughts on? Cause we're still talking about card scarcities and whatnot. All the cards on Facebook on how much they're going for right now. Have you been keeping an eye
Okay.
on those?
Yeah, yeah. So, yep, those are pre-release sales, right? I mean, so those sales are super inflated, um,
Hmm.
super, super high. Do not buy at all, even if you absolutely need it. Literally just wait until the set gets released.
That's not what I like to hear. I want my cards the week before everyone else. I want to be the first person.
I mean, if you have those cards and you're trying to sell them, I would first try to sell locally, but sell it like see if you can even sell like depending on what cards there are, because there are some cards that are just in the hundreds. You can sell it like $50 or even $100 below value because that's probably where it will settle. Go for that,
Totally.
you know, like make them think that they get a good deal out of it. But I honestly, even then, I wouldn't buy. Like, don't buy anything. Like, I almost bought the new gloves for Illusionist, and because it was a rainbow foil, and someone was offering $100 or offering to sell it to me for $100.
That's not
I was
too
close
bad.
to it.
That's not, I don't think that's that bad.
No, I don't think it's that bad either. But the more I thought about it and the more I play tested with it, the more I realized this could be something like Skullbone Cross Wraps. I mean, this could be
Mm,
something that doesn't even see play. I could be totally wrong. It could be something that does see play. We'll find out. Either way, I opened one, so it doesn't matter to me. But
there it is.
um, like looking back on it, like even if I didn't, I would still be happy not to buy it, just because like it would feel the worst if it's just like ridiculously overpriced at $100.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world.
No. All right. Well, that's about it on my end. You got anything else?
I don't think anything else too new and exciting. Just Road to NAS coming up. We got some sweet battle hardens coming up, especially in Los Angeles. And then, other than that, just preparing. Lots of
All
grinding.
right. All right. Well, cool. Well, that's been this episode of the Winning In podcast. We hope to see you next week, where hopefully we're a little bit more settled on the upcoming meta.
Deuces.